was one of those nights when the weight of college assignments pressed down on me. I sat amidst a sea of books and notes, the eerie glow of my laptop the only light. Hunger gnawed at me, pulling my attention away from the work at hand. DoorDash it was. I scrolled through the options, finally settling on my favorite Thai place. A simple pad Thai and spring rolls. Perfect. My order placed, I dove back into my essay, trying to focus. The familiar ping from my phone signaled the impending arrival of my meal. Your dasher Leo is approaching with your order. I breathed a sigh of relief, looking forward to the break. But something strange caught my eye as I waited. An incoming call from an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? A raspy voice, almost a whisper, responded. Addison? A shiver shot down my spine. Who's this? I have your food. Open the door. I frowned. Since when did DoorDash drivers call directly? Just leave it at the door, please. I'll get it. Silence. Then the line went dead. Hesitantly, I approached my front door, peeping through the spy hole. There was no one. No delivery driver, no food. Just the dimly lit hallway of my apartment complex. I opened the app to check, and it still showed Leo as on his way. Confused, I chalked it up to a weird glitch or perhaps a prank. But my phone rang again. The same unknown number. Reluctantly, I answered. Who is this? It's cold out here, Addison. Why don't you let me in? Frozen in place, a pit of dread forming in my stomach, I asked, Where's Leo? Why aren't you using the app? A chilling laugh came from the other end. Oh, Leo won't be delivering your food tonight. I ended the call, my hands trembling. The sinister undertones were unmistakable. I immediately called the local police, explaining my situation. They advised me to stay locked inside and said they'd send an officer over immediately. As I waited, heart racing, a soft knock echoed through my apartment. Approaching the door again, I cautiously looked out. There, on the floor, was my order from the Thai restaurant, still warm. The knock came again, but it wasn't from my front door. It was coming from the window to my fire escape, the one I'd stupidly left ajar for fresh air. Someone was trying to get in. I could see a shadowy figure outside, the silhouette of a man. And as my eyes adjusted, I caught a glimpse of a DoorDash bag on the fire escape floor. Panic surged. Was that Leo, or the sinister caller pretending to be him? Clutching my phone, I hid in the bathroom, locking the door. Dialing 911, I whispered my address and situation. As I spoke, I heard the unmistakable creak of my window being fully opened. Then footsteps, soft but deliberate. He's inside, I whispered into the phone, tears streaming down my face. The operator's calm voice soothed me. Stay where you are, Addison. Help is on the way. Then, from the other side of my bathroom door, that same raspy voice, dripping with menace, said, You can't hide forever. Moments, which felt like hours, passed. Then the sound of sirens in the distance grew louder. The intruder seemed to panic, his footsteps hastening towards the window. When the police arrived, they found the window open, but the intruder was gone. The following investigation revealed a chilling series of events. The man who had entered my apartment wasn't Leo. He had intercepted Leo during a delivery, incapacitating him and taking his phone. Leo was found tied up but alive in his car a few blocks away. The intruder was never caught, but his chilling phone calls stopped, leaving only the haunting memories of that night. The clock on my dashboard blinked 12:03 a.m. My phone buzzed and the delivery app pinged, one new order. I squinted at the screen, 13 Elm Street. The address wasn't familiar, but the app's map showed it was in an isolated part of town I hadn't ventured to before. The instructions read, Deliver to the back door, knock twice, wait 5 seconds and knock once more. Do not ring the doorbell. Strange, I thought, but in this job you get used to the quirks of customers. Some prefer you to leave the food on the porch. Others ask you to place it on a table in their yard. This was no different, I assured myself, and continued on my route. The night was still, and the deeper I drove, the more the ambient sounds of the city faded away. The streetlights became sparser until they disappeared altogether, replaced by a haunting darkness broken only by the pale glow of my headlights. I turned on the radio for company, but all I found was static. As I approached 13 Elm Street, my GPS repeatedly announced, You have arrived. But in front of me was nothing but a thick forest. I slowed down, checking the app to ensure I hadn't made an error. Then, through the trees, I caught a glimpse of a faint pathway. It wasn't so much a road as a dirt track, barely wide enough for my car. The shadows of the trees loomed menacingly, their limbs reaching out like arms waiting to grab an unsuspecting victim. I hesitated, but my innate need to complete the delivery won. Slowly, I maneuvered my car onto the path. The trees pressed in from both sides, their branches scraping against the sides of my car like whispered threats. Every rustle, every chirp made me jump. The deeper I drove, the more claustrophobic I felt. Just when I started to believe the house didn't exist, the trees cleared to reveal a large, dilapidated mansion. It was an ancient, Gothic-style house, its windows like hollow eyes. Most of them were broken or boarded up. A gust of wind made the remaining shards whistle eerily. But it was the silence, the sheer absence of any sound that unnerved me most. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed the bag of food and approached the house. I remembered the instructions, the back door. As I circled the property, I could feel the weight of the house's gaze, as if it were alive and watching. I found the back door slightly ajar. I hesitated, then knocked 3 times, waited, and knocked once more. Silence. Then a sound. Slow, dragging footsteps from within the house, coming closer and closer to the door. I should have left then. I should have dropped the food and run. But instead I froze, waiting. The door creaked open wider. An old woman stood there, her skin paper thin, eyes clouded, but her gaze sharp and unsettling. "Ah, you've brought it," she whispered, her voice rough with age. Yes," I stammered, offering the bag. She took it, her fingers cold as ice. "You're late," she said. Confused, I replied, "The order was placed just 20 minutes ago." Her eyes widened in genuine surprise. "Oh no, dear. I placed that order 50 years ago." Chills ran down my spine. "That's impossible," I whispered. She smiled, revealing missing teeth. "This house, it has needs. It feeds on deliveries like yours, on people like you." I wanted to scream, to run, but my feet were rooted to the spot. The old woman continued. "Every few decades a driver like you comes. The house enjoys it, the anticipation, the fear. But don't worry, you might leave if you're quick enough." From behind her, a shadow moved. It was shapeless, dark, and it seemed to grow larger with every passing second. Without another word, I turned and sprinted towards my car. The night was filled with the sound of my pounding heart and heavy breathing. As I fumbled with my keys, I dared a glance back. The shadow was spreading, flowing out of the house, its edges reaching for me. I managed to start the car and reverse out of the pathway. The trees seemed to conspire against me, blocking my way, but I broke free, hitting the main road at breakneck speed. I didn't stop driving until I reached the safety of the city's lights. I reported the incident to the police. They looked for the house but found nothing. The forest, the path, the mansion, all had vanished as though they never existed. But I know what I saw. Now I avoid nighttime deliveries, and every time my phone buzzes after midnight, my heart races, fearing it's another order from 13 Elm Street. Because you see, in the depths of night, when everything is silent, I can still hear that old woman's voice whispering, "You might leave if you're quick enough." The allure of McDonald's fries at midnight is something I'm convinced only fellow college students can understand. The previous night had been a blur of term papers, caffeine highs, and anxiety-driven hunger. So when the hunger struck again, I didn't hesitate. I placed an order for my comfort food, a Big Mac and a large fries, of course, on DoorDash. As I was digging into my textbooks, my phone buzzed with the familiar notification. "Your dasher, Ethan, is on the way with your McDonald's order." I glanced at the DoorDash app, appreciating the feature that showed the driver's progress. It would be a matter of minutes before I could indulge. However, after a while, something strange caught my attention. The map showed Ethan's car circling my block multiple times. I figured maybe he was having difficulty finding parking, but it was well past midnight. Our campus town was quiet, the streets usually vacant. Another buzz. A text from Ethan. "Having a hard time finding your place, can you come outside?" Though a bit annoyed, I understood the confusion. My apartment complex could be a bit of a maze. I replied, "Sure, give me a sec." Pulling on my hoodie, I made my way down the dimly lit hallway and stepped outside. The night was unusually cold, fog enveloping the streets, rendering everything a few feet away almost invisible. I strained my eyes, trying to spot Ethan's car. That's when I heard a faint voice from the fog. "Brianna?" I turned in the direction of the voice, spotting a silhouette leaning against what appeared to be a car. "Ethan?" I called out tentatively. Suddenly, the figure straightened up, and another one emerged from the shadows closer to me. Alarm bells started ringing in my head. "Just wanted your McDonald's, right?" The second voice sneered. Feeling cornered, I weighed my options. My phone was still in my hand, and I quickly sent an SOS to my roommate Jenna, hoping she'd see it. Trying to maintain composure, I spoke loudly. "Yes, I ordered McDonald's. Where is it?" The two figures exchanged glances, and the first one, presumably Ethan, replied, "Changed our minds. How about you come with us for a late-night drive instead?" Panic surged through me, but before I could react, bright headlights illuminated the scene, cutting through the fog. Jenna's old pickup truck roared into view, coming to a screeching halt between me and the two men. She jumped out, wielding her field hockey stick. "Get away from her!" The two men, taken aback by the sudden interruption, hesitated for a split second. That was all Jenna and I needed. Jumping into the truck, Jenna floored the accelerator, leaving the fog and the two mysterious men behind. Heart pounding, we made our way to the campus police station. With shaking hands, I recounted the events to the officer on duty, showing him the DoorDash app and the text messages. The campus police acted swiftly. Working with DoorDash, they identified Ethan. As it turned out, Ethan was an alias. The account was fake, and the picture didn't match any known DoorDash driver. The car had been stolen a few towns over. In the weeks that followed, there was a heightened security presence around campus. DoorDash, too, took measures to enhance the safety features of their app, ensuring drivers were regularly vetted. The incident became a dark legend on campus, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of late-night deliveries and the importance of always being on guard. My trust in delivery services was irreparably shaken. Every notification, every car sound from outside would send a shiver down my spine. Midnight McDonald's cravings took on a new, dark meaning for me. Jenna and I, on the other hand, became inseparable. That night had forged an unbreakable bond between us. I owed her my life, all because of a late-night McDonald's craving gone terribly wrong.